There is a kind of loneliness that no one talks about. Not the loneliness of an empty house, not the loneliness of a Friday night with nowhere to go. Those kinds people understand. Those kinds people see. This is the other kind. The kind that follows you into a room full of laughter, that sits beside you at a table where everyone is talking, and something in you quietly, without warning, goes very far away. The kind that appears in the middle of a conversation with someone who loves you, and still, you feel unseen. You smile, you answer, you pass the bread, and inside there is a silence so deep it almost has a sound. If you know that feeling, this video was made for you. Not to fix you, not to diagnose you, but to sit beside you the way a trusted friend sits beside you and say, I know this feeling too, and there is something I want to share with you. Today we walk through 7 Buddhist teachings on loneliness. Not the loneliness of circumstance, but the deeper kind. The kind that persists even when your life looks full from the outside. The kind that has been trying to tell you something for years. Stay until teaching 5. What you hear there may be the permission you have been waiting your whole life to give yourself. And before we begin, if these words find you at the right moment, leave a comment. Your story matters here. Subscribe so you never miss a teaching. Now breathe and let these words find you where you are. I want to be honest with you before we begin. I didn't come to this topic as someone who has it all figured out. I came to it as someone who spent years surrounded by people and still felt profoundly alone until I understood why. These teachings changed something in me. I hope they do the same for you. Before the teachings begin, I need to say one thing. You did not arrive at this feeling by accident. Somewhere along the way, it may have been decades ago, it may have been slowly, the way water shapes stone, you learned that your worth lived in what you gave to the people who needed you, to the roles you were handed. You became the reliable one, the steady one, the one everyone called first. And the self, your own inner life, your own quiet longings, was placed at the bottom of the list, again and again, season after season. Until one day you looked up and saw it clearly. You had built a beautiful life around everyone else, and you had nearly disappeared from your own story. This is not weakness. This is not selfishness that needs correcting. This is what happens when a person practices love for others without ever being taught to practice it for themselves. Buddhism does not blame you for that. It simply offers you a way back. 1. The loneliness you feel is not about other people. Let's start with something that may surprise you. The loneliest people on earth are often the most surrounded. A full house, a calendar that never empties, a phone that buzzes through dinner, and still that hollow place inside that none of it quite reaches. Meanwhile, there are monks who live alone in mountain monasteries, sometimes in near total silence for years, who describe their inner life as one of profound companionship. Not loneliness, companionship, with themselves, with the world, with the present moment. How? The Buddha taught that suffering, including the suffering of loneliness, does not arise from our circumstances. It arises from where the mind lives, a mind that is constantly elsewhere, planning, replaying, comparing, worrying. That mind is lonely because it is never home. It is never with the one person it is always with. You. Think about where your mind spends most of its time. Is it here in this breath, in this body, in this room, or is it somewhere else? In a conversation that happened last week, in a fear about next month, in a quiet, persistent question, does anyone really see me? When the mind is always elsewhere, we experience a very particular kind of loneliness. Not the loneliness of isolation, but the loneliness of absence. We are absent from our own lives. We are there in body and gone in every other sense. And no number of people in the room can reach someone who isn't fully there. This is not a flaw. This is a habit. And habits, with patience, can change. The question worth sitting with today is not, who can I call? It is, when did I last come home to myself? When did you last put down the distraction and simply be without agenda, without performance, without the constant labor of being needed? Because the loneliness you feel is not a signal that you need more people. It is a signal that you need more of you, more of your own quiet, unhurried attention, more of your own company. And that is something no one else can give you, and something no one can take away. The only person who has ever been missing from your life is you. 2. You lost yourself long before you lost anyone else. This teaching goes deeper. Stay with me. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes not from overwork, but from overgiving, from spending so many years tending to everyone else's inner world that you one day look at your own and find it almost a stranger. You know the roles you have carried, perhaps for decades: the caretaker, the provider, the one who kept everything together when everything wanted to fall apart. These are not small things. They are acts of love, real love, given generously and often at great personal cost. But here is what the Buddha noticed, and what took me a long time to understand. The roles we inhabit, if we inhabit them long enough, begin to feel like the self. The boundary between what I do and who I am quietly dissolves. And then, when the children leave, when the marriage ends, when retirement comes, when the role that defined you for 30 years suddenly empties out, there is a silence, a frightening silence. Not because you have lost something, but because you are being asked, perhaps for the first time in your adult life, to answer a question you were never taught how to answer. Who are you when no one needs you to be anything? Sit with that. There is no rush. The Buddha spoke of anatta, the teaching of non-self. It is often misunderstood as nihilism. It is not. At its heart, it says this: the fixed, permanent self we think we are is largely constructed, built from roles, expectations, conditioning from what we were told we were before we were old enough to decide for ourselves, which means the self can also be rebuilt, consciously, gently, on your own terms. I want to share a parable. There was a gardener who had tended the same garden for 40 years. Every morning before dawn, she was out in the soil watering, pruning, coaxing reluctant things to bloom. The garden was magnificent. People came from miles away to walk through it. One autumn, the garden went dormant. The flowers receded, the branches went bare, and the gardener stood at the window with empty hands, not knowing what to do with herself, because in 40 years, her hands had never learned to rest, had never learned to tend to anything except the garden. A monk passing through the village saw her standing there and asked what was wrong. "The garden has gone quiet," she said, "and I don't know who I am without it." The monk looked at her with great gentleness and said, "You have given everything to the garden, but you are not the garden. You are the gardener. And a gardener who has never been tended, never been watered, cannot truly flourish. The garden will return, but first will you? Silence. Sit with your own version of that story. The question is not who left you. The question is when you left yourself, and whether in this season, right now, you are ready to come back. That is not a sad question. It is one of the most hopeful questions a person can ever ask. because it means the journey home is possible. It always has been, and it begins exactly where you are. You did not lose yourself all at once. You will not find yourself all at once, but you will find yourself. That much is certain. 3. Loneliness is a messenger, not a punishment. Here is something our world has not taught us. Pain is not always a problem to solve. Sometimes it is a teacher asking for your attention. Think about how you respond when loneliness appears. Reach for the phone, fill the silence with noise, plan something, fix something, call someone, anything, to keep from sitting in the discomfort of that hollow feeling. We are extraordinarily skilled at this. The modern world has built an entire industry to help us never have to stop and feel. But the Buddha, in the Salatha Sutta, described something important. He spoke of 2 arrows. The first arrow is the pain itself. The loneliness, the ache, the sting of feeling invisible in a room full of people. That pain is real. It hurts. No one is going to pretend otherwise. But the second arrow, that is the one we fire at ourselves, the resistance to the pain, the running from it, the desperate, exhausting effort to fill every quiet moment so we never have to meet what is actually living inside us. And the Buddha said, the second arrow causes more suffering than the first, because the first wound eventually heals. The second one we keep reopening. Here is the teaching that changed things for me. What if loneliness is not a warning that something is wrong with you? What if it is a signal, a very specific, very precise signal, that a part of you has been left unattended for too long? Not a punishment, a message. There is a story. A student arrived at a monastery, exhausted and frightened. She told the teacher, "Every time the silence comes, something unbearable rises up inside me. I don't know what it is. I only know I have to keep moving, keep busy, keep surrounded, or it swallows me whole." The teacher listened without interruption. Then she said simply, "That unbearable thing you keep running from. Have you ever asked it what it wants?" The student had not. She had only ever fled. "Try this," the teacher said. "Sit with it once, just once. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to make it go away. Simply let it be there and listen." The student was afraid. But she tried, and what rose up was not a monster. It was grief. Old, patient, long-held grief. The grief of someone who had spent decades being strong for everyone and had never once, in all that time, allowed themselves to be held. The grief didn't destroy her. It moved through her, like weather. And on the other side of it, something she hadn't felt in years. Quiet, not emptiness. Quiet. Let that land. Your loneliness is not your enemy. It is the part of you that has been knocking on the door the longest. And what it wants to tell you, if you give it just a moment of stillness, is something worth hearing. You don't have to fix it. You only have to stop running. And when you do, you will find that the silence was never empty. It was full of you, waiting to be found. Loneliness is not the absence of love. It is love turned inward, with nowhere to go yet. For there are 2 kinds of alone. Only one of them hurts. This teaching is short, but do not let its brevity fool you. It may be the most clarifying thing you hear today. There is being alone, and there is feeling lonely. These are not the same thing. They are not even related things. They simply wear a similar face. Being alone is an external condition. It is circumstance. It is geography. Feeling lonely is an internal state. It is the quality of your relationship with the person you are always with yourself. And the startling truth is this: you can have one without the other, entirely. You can sit in a silent room with no one for miles and feel a deep, anchored peace. You can sit at a table surrounded by people who love you and feel utterly, achingly alone. Most of us have experienced both. We just haven't understood why. The Buddha's final words to his disciples, the last thing he said before he died, were not, "Stay together, support one another, find community." All of those things matter, but they were not what he chose to leave his students with. He said, "Be a lamp unto yourself. Be your own source of light, not because others don't matter, but because a lamp that depends entirely on other lamps to stay lit will go dark the moment it is left alone." Here is the distinction that changes everything. When you are genuinely at ease with yourself, when you have practiced returning to your own center, being alone becomes something different. It becomes spacious. A solo walk is nourishing. A quiet morning is a gift. An evening without plans becomes something to protect rather than escape. But when you are at war with your own company, solitude is unbearable. Because solitude, in that state, is not peaceful. It is a mirror, and the mirror shows you something you haven't been willing to look at. The question worth living with is this: am I someone I enjoy spending time with? Not. Am I interesting enough for others? Not. Do people want to be around me? But the more intimate, more honest question: when it is just me, am I good company for myself? Because the answer to that question determines the quality of every relationship you will ever have. When you are at peace with your own company, you bring something entirely different to others. You arrive not with need, but with presence. Not with hunger, but with warmth. And that is something people can feel before you have said a single word. You will never feel less alone than the day you become someone you genuinely want to spend time with. 5. What you are waiting for others to give you, you must first give yourself. The teaching I promised you at the beginning, here it is. The one that changes things. Not because it is complicated, because it is true. And somewhere inside you, I suspect you have already suspected it. The Buddha taught metta, loving kindness. And its practice, this is important, always begins in the same place. Not with the person you love most. Not with the friend who needs you. Not with the stranger who is suffering. With yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. Always, always yourself first. This is not selfishness. Selfishness is indifference to others. This is something entirely different. This is the recognition that you cannot pour from an empty vessel, that you cannot offer real warmth from a place of chronic depletion, that the love you extend to others when it comes from a full place is incomparably richer than the love that comes from exhaustion and self-abandonment. You cannot water a garden from a well you have never filled. Now, I want to ask you something. Answer it honestly, just for yourself. What is it you most wish someone would say to you right now? Take a moment. Don't rush past this. That you are enough, exactly as you are. That someone sees how hard you have been trying, how much you have been carrying, and they are not asking you for anything more. That your tiredness is valid, not something to push through, but something to be honored. That you are allowed to need, to want, to take up space. That someone is proud of you not for what you have done, but simply for who you are. Now the harder question. When did you last say those things to yourself? Not to a friend who was struggling, not to a child who needed encouragement, not performed for an audience, to yourself, in the ordinary quiet of your own mind, in your own voice. with the same gentleness you give everyone else as a matter of course. I want you to sit with the answer, because most people, when they sit with it honestly, discover something startling. The things they most long to receive, they have never given themselves, not once, or so rarely it doesn't register. And here is what the Buddha was pointing to. The ache of loneliness, that specific hollow feeling, is often not the absence of someone else. It is the absence of your own kindness, turned inward. It is the sound of a self that has been waiting, patiently and without complaint, to be treated with the same tenderness you extend to everyone around you. The love you are searching for is not missing from the world. It is misdirected. It has been flowing outward for so long that you have forgotten it can flow another way. There is a practice in Buddhism so simple, it almost seems too small to matter. When you wake in the morning, before the day rushes in, before the phone, before the obligations, before the first demand, you place one hand on your heart and you say, silently or aloud, I am here, I am enough, I am my own. Not as performance, not as affirmation you are trying to convince yourself of, as a return. A small, daily return to yourself. You do not have to earn this. You do not have to wait until you have resolved every difficulty, answered every need, proven yourself worthy of your own attention. The permission is already yours. It has always been yours. You simply were not told. You are allowed to be tender with yourself, right now, today, exactly as you are, uncertain, imperfect, tired in ways that sleep doesn't always fix, and whole, entirely, irreducibly whole. Let that land. You have been waiting a long time to hear it. The love you have been searching for in every other person has always been yours to give and yours to receive first. 6. Solitude is not loneliness. It is where you come home. There is a version of you that has nothing to prove, no role to perform, no one to reassure, no room to read, no expectations to calibrate, no version of yourself to present that will make someone else comfortable. That version of you, unhurried, unperformed, quietly real, still exists. It has not gone anywhere. It is simply waiting for the conditions where it can breathe. Those conditions are called solitude. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a concept called sunyata, most often translated as emptiness. It is widely misunderstood as absence, as negation, as something melancholy. It is none of those things. Emptiness, in this tradition, is capacity. A bowl is useful because it is empty. A room is livable because it has unoccupied space. A flute sings because it has hollow places running through it. The emptiness is not the problem. The emptiness is what makes everything else possible. Your solitude is not what is left when connection fails. It is not a consolation prize for people who haven't found their person yet. It is a specific, irreplaceable kind of space, the space where the performed self can rest and the real self can quietly surface. Think about what happens when you live in constant company. Part of you is always adapting, reading the room, sensing the emotional temperature, deciding, often without conscious thought, which version of yourself this moment calls for. This is not dishonesty. It is the deeply human need to belong. But over years, over decades, it has a cost. You forget which parts of yourself are real and which parts were shaped by what others needed you to be. There is an old koan, a riddle used in Zen practice to break through habitual thinking. The teacher asks, "Before your parents were born, what was your face?" It sounds like a paradox. It is not. It is pointing to something specific. There is a self that precedes all the conditioning, all the roles, all the years of becoming what was needed. That self is still there, not buried beyond recovery, simply quieted, waiting, patient as the ground beneath winter. Solitude is where you begin to hear it again, not immediately. The first days of real stillness for people who have spent a lifetime in motion can be uncomfortable. The noise of your own thoughts can be surprisingly loud. You may feel restless, purposeless, almost guilty for simply being without doing. But stay. Stay in the discomfort, the way you would stay in a warm bath even though it stings at first. Because on the other side of that initial restlessness, something remarkable waits. You start to remember what you actually love, not what you have been told to love, not what fits the image others have of you. What you love when no one is watching. What makes you laugh when you are alone. What fills you quietly, without fanfare. You start to meet, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, the person who was there before all of it. And that person, I promise you, this is worth knowing. In the quiet, you don't lose yourself. You finally remember what you actually look like. 7. When you are whole, love arrives differently. This last teaching is not about giving up on love. It is about understanding what love becomes, how much freer, how much more genuine, how much more sustaining when you stop arriving at it desperate. The Buddha spoke of tanha, craving. Not desire in itself. Desire is human and beautiful and the source of much good in the world. But craving is something different. Craving is the desperate kind of wanting, the kind that whispers, "I cannot be at peace until I have this." The kind that turns longing into a lens through which every experience is filtered. When loneliness becomes that kind of craving, when it is the central organizing force of a life, it does something paradoxical. It repels the very thing it reaches for. Not because the universe is cruel, but because people can feel the quality of energy in other people. They can feel the difference between someone who is present, genuinely, comfortably, securely present, and someone who is arriving with invisible hands outstretched, asking to be filled. And need at that intensity, however understandable, however human, is frightening to step into. Here is the image I want to give you. Two people walk into the same room at the same party on the same evening. The first arrives from emptiness. She has spent the week lonely. She is hoping, really hoping, that tonight will be the night, that she will meet someone who sees her, who makes the hollow feeling go away. She doesn't say this, of course. She smiles. She is warm. But underneath the warmth, there is a current of urgency, a kind of hunger. The second person has also been alone this week, but somewhere in that solitude, she found something. She took a long walk. She read something that moved her. She cooked a meal she actually enjoyed. She sat with herself and found the company tolerable, even, in moments, good. She arrives at the party not looking for rescue. She is simply here, curious, open, at ease in her own skin. Who do you want to sit beside? Whose presence feels like somewhere you could rest? The difference between those two people is not luck. It is not that one has a better life, or fewer wounds, or more reason for confidence. It is simply that one has done the quiet, unglamorous work of learning to be with herself, of showing up for her own inner life with something like regularity and tenderness. And that work, that practice, changes everything about how you move through the world. When you are whole or tending toward wholeness, which is all any of us can do, you stop arriving to relationships with your hands cupped and your needs showing. You arrive with something to give, not because you are performing generosity, but because when your own cup has been tended to, it actually has something in it. And what you offer, genuine, unhurried, self-possessed presence, is one of the most magnetic things one human being can bring to another. This is not a strategy. You cannot fake your way to wholeness to attract a particular outcome. The work has to be real. But here is what is true. When you genuinely no longer need someone to complete you, when you have learned to be complete, the quality of connection that becomes available to you changes entirely. Because now, instead of asking, "Will this person save me from myself?" you can ask a different question. Do I genuinely enjoy this person? Does their presence add to a life that is already good? And that question, asked from a place of real sufficiency, is the beginning of love in its truest form. What is meant for you will find you far more easily when you are no longer hiding inside your own loneliness. Today we walk together through 7 teachings that have outlasted empires, outlasted centuries, outlasted every fashion in the long human story of trying to understand what it means to be at peace. You learn that loneliness is not about other people, it lives in the distance between you and yourself, that you lost yourself gradually through years of loving others before yourself, and that the journey back is not only possible but already beginning, that the silence you have been running from is not your enemy, it is your oldest, most patient teacher, and it has something worth hearing. You learned the most important distinction of all, that being alone and feeling lonely have almost nothing to do with each other, that the relationship that determines everything else is the one with yourself, that what you have been waiting for others to give you, the tenderness, the recognition, the simple grace of being seen, you are allowed, right now, to begin giving yourself. That solitude is not the absence of connection. It is where the truest connection, the one that no one can take from you, becomes possible. And that when you are whole, love does not have to be chased. It arrives in its own time, in the form that is right for you. There is only one thing left now, not a resolution you have to hold perfectly, not a transformation that must happen by morning. One small thing, today, one moment where you turn toward yourself with the same gentleness you have been giving everyone else for decades. One moment of returning, one quiet internal act that says, without drama, without apology, without waiting for permission from anyone, I matter too. That is enough. That is where it begins. And everything else, slowly, steadily, the way light returns after a long winter, grows from there. Tell me this in the comments. What is one thing you have been waiting for someone else to give you that you can begin to give yourself today? Your words may be exactly what someone else needed to read tonight. If these teachings found you, subscribe and join others walking this same path back to themselves, slowly, honestly, beautifully. There is always something here waiting for you. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are a whole person who forgot, for a little while, that she was enough. The remembering it starts now, right here, with you.